what's up? What's up? You Can't Play Boxing Podcast, episode 48. Yo, first of all, I want to thank everybody for listening. You know what I'm saying? First things first, let's kind of go over the socials. Catch us on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. Website still being, hopefully it'll be done soon. So website's gonna be Can't Play Boxing. And of course you can check us out on Facebook, You Can't Play Boxing. And of course, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, all the major podcast platforms. You Can't Play Boxing. Yo, so this episode's going to be kind of a quick episode. We're going to hit on a couple things. We're going to talk about the upcoming fight for next weekend. Well, this weekend, which is going to be Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Chris Areola. It's on pay-per-view for PBC. We're going to also talk about Berlanga, his fight yesterday, and, the action we had. And then, but before we get into that, though, what I want to do, tonight we had, or depending on when you listen to it, we had the Oscars last weekend. And, shout out to Daniel Kaluuya for winning Best Supporting Actor, in the Judas and the Black Messiah. I really did like that movie. That was a good movie. If you don't know, the movie was about Fred Hampton, and it was about, Fred Hampton and how the FBI basically infiltrated the Black Panther Party that was in Chicago, his chapter, and they came up with a plan to assassinate him. Features real good performances by Lakeith Stanfield, good performances by Daniel Kaluuya. It was all the way around. It was a good movie. I think you could check it out on HBO Max, or maybe you have to wait till it come back on there, but it's a good movie. So shout out to him. Also shout out to her. You know what I'm saying? She won, I think, Best Song, Straight Out of Vallejo. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her for that Oscar win. And I know this year we had like a lot of it was kind of messed up a little bit because we weren't going to the movies, and we was catching a lot of these movies like on streaming services, so kind of made for a different experience a little bit, but I think we got some blockbusters coming up. I know that Mortal Kombat came on HBO Max this weekend, so I'm gonna try to check that out for sure. I just got done checking out that Godzilla versus King Kong, and that was, it was a movie that's, you know what you're going to get in that type of movie. So it lived up to expectations. They had a little different plot twist, but all in all, I would give that movie, what would I give Godzilla versus Kong? I would give that like a B- or C+, you know what I'm saying? So if you're not watching anything, if you're trying to like fill up time, that's a cool little movie to kind of take your mind off things. And this past weekend we had a top ranked card. Zarate, he was fighting, and also you had Edgar Berlanga, who came in with all the knockouts, but he went actually 8 rounds. So he was tested this time. He wound up winning. And I think Berlanga's going to be a good fighter for sure. But I think as he steps up in competition, he's not going to be able to knock everybody out. So he definitely going to have to come up with different game plans and use jab more and set up his power shots, because the power's there, but it's almost like he's throwing with that fastball all the time. But, as he progresses, I think he'll definitely step into kind of his, he'll step into, until his maturity, as a fighter. Yo, so what we gonna do, we gonna have a quick little break. Like I said, this podcast is gonna be one of the quicker ones, but I did want to at least get out one before the fight this weekend. Again, we're gonna preview the Andy Ruiz Jr. Chris Areola pay-per-view. So hold on for a second. Be right back. Shouts out to our sponsors. Luxury Apex is sponsoring this segment. LuxuryApex.com is where you can find the most premium colognes and fragrances for women and perfumes for women for great prices. Luxury Apex has premium colognes and perfumes from Chanel, from Tom Ford, also from Dior. And just for you listening to our podcast, You Can't Play Boxing, they got a special promo code for our listeners. If you type in the code Can't Play Boxing 25, you get 25% off from any item on the site. Luxury Apex includes free shipping, so give them a shout, man. LuxuryApex.com. Premium fragrances, top-notch designers. Let them know that You Can't Play Boxing sent you over there. Again, promo code is Can't Play Boxing 25. What's up? It's that time of the show where we kind of give a shout out to our sponsors. The sponsor today is Anchor. Anchor is everything you need to create your own podcast. You can use Anchor to distribute your show. They'll kind of get it out for you. And all you have to do is do it from your cell phone or your microphone, however you want to do it. But if you want to get your voice out there, if you want to talk to the people, there's no better place to do it than Anchor. So download the app, Anchor, or go to their website, anchor.com. It'll distribute your podcast on all platforms. So again, Anchor. Yeah. You Can't Play Boxing podcast episode 48. We back. Y'all bear with me this episode. I got a lot of stuff going on right now. So just bear with me for a second. I meant to start off the show one way, and we're gonna do that right now too. This past week, I think that was Wednesday or Thursday, Shock G of Digital Underground passed away at the age of 57. So let's give a rest in peace to Shock G real quick. Moment of silence. Rest in peace, Shock G. And some of my favorite early memories, especially of the 90s. You had a lot of Digital Underground songs like, same songs, Do What You Like, Kiss Me and I Kiss You Back. I mean, Digital Underground they had a lot of shit, man. They had a lot of shit it was good, fun, up-tempo stuff. Of course, Humpty Dance. Did I say same song? It had a lot of shit, bro. So shout out to Digital Underground, Money B. Rest in peace again to Shock G. Of course, they were the first people to put on Tupac. You know what I'm saying? And he was a roadie for them. So shout out to the whole Digital Underground and their stature in this game, So shout out to them for sure. Also, this past weekend, we typically don't touch on this on my podcast, but, hey, we can go over there for a second. We had a big pay-per-view on the UFC side, and I haven't to this day bought a UFC pay-per-view. I've seen UFC fights, and don't get me wrong, I respect it for sure. So I saw this KO, from Usman on Masvidal, whatever his name is, and man, that was a straight up textbook 1-2 rock him. You know what I'm saying? He lined him up and he shut him down. So shout out to Usman for that. I'm not big on the MMA scene. I got a few fighters I kind of follow. But shout out to him for that. And speaking of that, I know a lot of people feel like you got to either watch MMA or you got to watch boxing. You can't watch either or. I mean, you can't watch both of them. I mean, I don't believe in that. Like, for real. If you like MMA, support it. If you like boxing, support it. If you like both of them, support it. It's not a thing where you gotta choose one and then say, oh man, I'm not listening to other people. So, don't be one of those haters of boxing or MMA. So, what else we got on this agenda today? Oh yeah. Again, this is gonna be a quick show, but I did want to touch on this real quick. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua supposedly, and they've been talking about this fight in the media more than I want to hear. I just want to see the shit finalized. Yeah, you get in Deontay Wilder out the picture, so don't keep telling me what's gonna happen or we about to get this amount of money. It's gonna be on this date. It's going to be this. I mean, just sign the fight and just kind of shut up, bro. Like, Eddie Hearn is doing too much talking. But anyway, supposedly, there's going to be like a $150 million site fee that one of the countries in Dubai says they'll pay. Is it possible? Yeah, I think it's possible, but again, man, when it comes to this fight, I just want to see it. If you're going to get Deontay Wilder out the way, you won't give him the third fight, then just go ahead and sign the fight and, do whatever you're trying to do. But this old back and forth, I really don't want to hear from it. So that's my 2 cents on that. Next on the agenda, we got a few fights this upcoming weekend. On the Zone, we're going to see Derek Chisora versus Joseph Parker. Chisora is, I think he's a top 10. I think they're both top 10 heavyweight fighters. Of course, they both had a few losses, but it should be an entertaining fight. My prediction is that Derek Chisora will probably win this one. You know what I'm saying? I think I don't know. I kind of go back and forth because I can see how Joseph Parker has a little bit more skills. He's more polished a little bit. But Chisora has more aggressiveness and more power than me. So it's an interesting fight. I'm going to definitely check that one out on the Zone. Also on the Zone, we got a title fight. You got Dimitri Bivol fighting Craig Richards for the light heavyweight title. I expect Bivol to win that one. He's one of the top light heavyweights for sure. So I'm not really. I'll watch it, but I fully expect Dimitri Bivol to win that fight. And the other card we have this weekend, we got Andy Ruiz Jr. He gonna fight Chris Areola. On that card, you got Erislandy Lara. He's fighting Thomas Lamana for the vacant WBA regular middleweight title. I think Lara has a little bit more tread on the tires, but I think he's getting close to when he's going to probably retire. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lara loses, but it's set up for him to win this regular middleweight title. So we shall see on that. When it comes to Andy Ruiz versus Chris Areola, Andy Ruiz, of course, he beat Anthony Joshua 2 years ago and kind of surprised everybody by doing that. He won the belt, and then it seems like he got bigger, not only in stature, but also he got bigger physically, and a lot of people think that after he won the belt, he didn't take training as seriously. So he ballooned when he fought Anthony Joshua 6 weeks later in December 2019. He ballooned and he lost his fight in Saudi Arabia. So it's been almost 16 months since he's been in the ring. So it's been a long layoff. And in that time period, he's switched trainers. He's now being trained by the same trainer that trains Canelo. And he's in camp with Canelo. He looks thinner. Andy Ruiz always had quick hands. So it looks like he's taking his training seriously as far as keeping the weight off. And, a little tidbit, Chris Areola said he had sparred Andy Ruiz Jr. when Andy Ruiz was like 16 years old. And he said he knew at that time that Andy Ruiz was going to be a problem and be kind of somebody that you got to watch for in the heavyweight division. And so that's definitely taking place. Chris Areola, he was a heavyweight contender. He's had a couple losses in title fights. Of course, lost to Deontay Wilder. Of course, he lost to Klitschko. Always has been an entertaining dude. But, looking at his last few fights, he's close to the end. He's close to the end as far as retiring. So the way I look at this fight, it's, of course, they're going to come in there and they're going to fight, take it seriously. However, I think Andy Ruiz has a lot more positive trajectory, going this way than what Chris Areola has right now. A lot more tread on the tires left. So I think, I'm not saying Andy Ruiz is going to do a KO. I'd be kind of surprised with that. But I fully kind of expect a decision win for Andy Ruiz. So, we shall see. And what we're going to do, we're going to wrap up this episode, but we'll see how that fight goes on our next episode. Next episode, we're going to preview the Canelo versus Saunders fight. I'm pretty excited about that one. We'll preview that. Plus, we'll recap this Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Chris Areola pay-per-view and also all the fights we had this upcoming weekend. We're going to recap those next weekend. And so, like I said before, we're going to wrap up this episode. Check us out on Instagram at You Can't Play Boxing. That's UCANTPLAYBOXING. Check us out on Facebook. You Can't Play Boxing. Website is being remodeled, but it's can'tplayboxing.com. Check out our YouTube. So I want to thank everybody for listening. I say this all the time. Listenership is growing. Sponsorships is growing. We just trying to develop and get better. And we appreciate everybody for listening to us, for rocking with us. So until next time, y'all, peace.